Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to have Bree Noble in today. We're going to talk about how to make it work as an indie artist, managing your time, managing your finances, all that important business stuff that is beyond the creative songwriting and producing. It's essential because as musicians, we are also running businesses, and Bree is going to guide our discussion today with her wisdom. In case you've never met Bree before, Bree quit her corporate job as a director of finance to pursue music. And after a successful run as a touring singer and songwriter, she founded the Woman of Substance Radio to promote quality female artists in all genres. And she also hosts the Profitable Musician podcast, where she teaches musicians how to tap into multiple streams of income, which is exactly what we're going to talk about today. So she has a signature framework called the Musician's Profit Path, and she turned that framework into a presentation that's been featured in conferences, including the ASCAP Experience and the Taxi Road Rally, as well as appearing in her best-selling book on Amazon. So drawing from her extensive experience as a musician, online marketer, business owner, Bree has created several education programs for musicians, including her signature program, the Female Musician Academy. So glad to have you with us today, Bree. And also, I just want to let all of our viewers know we are going to have a Q&A with Bree at the end too. So that's enough of me talking. Bree, what do people need to know when just kind of approaching this career as a business and managing the business side, right? We want to spend all our time songwriting. We want to spend all of our time just doing the fun stuff. But eventually we're going to have to think of getting that transaction, right? Expanding income streams. What would you say to an artist who maybe has never thought of that before?
Yeah, I mean, first I would say I don't want you to feel bad that you don't have these skills, right? Because I think a lot of people, are just like, I don't know how to do this business stuff. It's like beyond me. And it makes total sense, right? Like we've been trained. I went to college for music and I was trained to be an incredible musician. I could analyze any piece of music and tell you all the chords and, all that kind of stuff and do my vocal juries. But I had no idea about the business stuff at all because they didn't teach me. And that's the case for most musicians, or even if you're like self-taught musician, no one has taught you this business stuff, and that's okay. But it is something we do need to know because we are going to be in charge of our own money. And that might not seem like what you've done, becoming an indie artist, but that is what you've done. And so the biggest thing is that you don't have a boss telling you what to do. You don't have anyone, helping you know how to manage your money, how to even, make sure that you're keeping track of everything correctly. And though they may not seem important right now at the beginning, but as you grow, as you start to make money, as you start to bring in different income streams, and maybe even eventually you want to bring other people on your team, you do need to have this stuff in order. So it's better that you do it from the beginning, because otherwise it's a mess to try to kind of pick up the pieces later and try to put it into something that makes sense business wise.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. In fact, I asked my list, I emailed them in preparation for this, asking them, like, how do you plan your day? How do you organize your musical day? And Lawrence says he makes a priorities list. Mitt said that sometimes he just works on one project at a time, right? He doesn't even prioritize. He focuses on one thing and everything else waits. And then Holly wrote back, it's just haphazard. Like I wake up and I just do random stuff. And so a lot of artists can be feeling that with business, right? It's just like, I don't know. I don't have a framework. I don't know what I should be doing. Should I focus on one thing? You have the 39 little known income streams list on your website. In fact, if you haven't checked out profitablemusician.com, check that out and you'll find Bree. But so what are the priorities? Sorry, cat's going crazy. What are the priorities that musicians should focus on when there's so much to do and so many directions to turn?
Yeah, and I don't I totally understand feeling like your day can be haphazard or feeling like you just don't know which thing to pick because there's so many. And just to mention the 39 streams, like I created that to open people's minds to the possibilities of what they can do with music and how many things there actually are to do, because I found that a lot of artists were very closed-minded, or they thought the only way they could make money is performing, or there's no way to make money anymore because you can't sell music, things like that. So it's more for like opening your mind, but I don't want it to overwhelm artists, and I think that's what happens. They're like, I need to do all 39, or I need to, if I'm not doing more than 2 or 3 of these, then I'm a failure, and I don't want you to think that at all. And that's why I always encourage artists to do like a 5 goal framework every 90 days, because 90 days is kind of a length of time where you can get a good deal of things done. You can make progress, but it actually feels doable, and you can see progress within it, but it doesn't seem like so long that maybe in that period your priorities might change or something might happen. And so, some people look at like annual goals, but to me that's just too long, because who knows, like life happens, right? Things happen in life. Um and it can totally change the direction of where you're going. Or something good could happen. You could get a record deal, or you could, suddenly blow up online or something, and it would change your priorities. So that's why the 90 days is the way I like to look at it. And, coming up with very tangible goals. I think the biggest problem is people go like, oh, I want to grow online. I want to increase my followers. That's not a goal. It's
Hmm.
That's just kind of like a pie in the sky idea. We need something more tangible, like, I wanna grow my followers on Instagram by 1,000 or something like that, or I want to grow my email list by 100 people in the next 90 days. And
Yeah.
that will help you be able to say, "Okay, I actually did this," or,
Mhm.
at the end of the 90 days, you'll be like, "Ah, no, I didn't do it. I only got 2 new email addresses. What didn't work? Was I actually trying? Did I actually have things in place to do that? Or was I just kind of saying I wanted to do it, but I wasn't doing anything specific to make it happen?"
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. And then when you go from those goals, you can break it down of like, okay, what steps would I need to do to accomplish this goal? Let's just say the 100 subscribers. Well, I could put something up on my website. I could reach out to individuals that I know are interested in my music, but they're not on my email list. Maybe they're in my personal life and they're just not on my email list.
Mhm.
I could start a live stream every week, and at the end, encourage everybody to join my email list and give them, something cool for joining the email list. It's like some specific things you can do to achieve that goal. And so, that's where you can really and within that, you've got lists, right? Like Lawrence was saying, a priority list, right? You
Mhm.
can do that, create that based upon your goals, and then you can, check things off the list. I love that feeling of checking things off the list. It's so great. And then don't let that list like keep growing. Like it needs to stay within your 5 goals. And if other things come along during that time period where you're like, "Oh, I should really do that. That's cool," or you see someone else doing something cool, put that on a different list. Say, "Okay, let me think about maybe prioritizing that after the 90 days is over," because what happens is you keep putting more and more things on the list, and then you just get so overwhelmed and you're like, "I'm never gonna make progress on this. I give up. I'm gonna go watch Netflix for 5 hours."
That's really insightful, actually, because I'm someone who just adds everything to one list,
Mm.
and just the freedom to have a separate list that's like outside of the recent window, or I guess the upcoming window, right? The upcoming 90 days. It's great because it's getting it out of your brain, right? You're capturing that idea. You want to accomplish it, but it kind of makes the work time right now and the goals that you've set right now sacred, right?
Yep.
You're not bogging it down with just every idea that comes in your mind, even though those ideas are valuable. I think that actually really speaks to me. And a lot of artists I've found, when we talk about these things, they just want to achieve things. They want to get music out. They don't really care about the money sometimes. Maybe they're balancing a job or a part-time job. Maybe they love their career and they also love music, and they just want to just get things done, right?
Mhm.
Regardless of whether it makes money. And so, what would you say has been the most effective in not only balancing music time with work time, but also for an artist that maybe only has a few hours per week to accomplish all of their music goals? How can they maximize their efficiency and effectiveness?
Yeah, I mean, that is the key, right? Because we don't all, I mean, even I run this business like 2 days a week, and I also work at a church, and I work there kind of full time. So,
Mhm.
it's like it's been a great experience for me to see like, okay, these strategies actually work because when I had to do it for my own business, I could do it, when I was used to working full time on it, and now it's like, okay, I need that, to put everything into these boxes of when I can do them. And so it really means working well with whatever calendar system you like and whatever like list making system or something that's going to remind you to do things. I like Asana. That's what I use,
Mhm.
Asana. You can use things like Trello, Todoist, like whatever thing you like. And however, if you like it, to be more visual or if you like it to be more like a list, which is what I like, it can remind you about things that happen every week. Every week when my podcast comes out, I need to remember to, post on social media or whatever. And it's like you think in your mind, well, I'll always remember because it's always Tuesday, but then Tuesday gets crazy and you don't remember, so you need to have that reminder to do those things, if it's on a weekly basis, or you could even, put a project in there and plan out the steps and then check them off as you go. But using that in conjunction with whatever calendar system you like. I like Google Calendar. I like being able to move things around. If like I had planned to spend, 3 hours booking, let's say, and then something happened, my daughter was sick and I had to take her to the doctor and I couldn't do it that day. I can just drag it, move it over to the next day. Right,
Mhm.
but I kind of like, using time blocks in that way, saying, "Okay, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm gonna spend 3 hours, doing booking," or maybe Monday, I'm gonna do booking outgoing calls, and then Wednesday, I'm gonna do follow-up if I didn't hear back from those people, or if I need to make sure that I've got everything squared away for a venue I'm performing at on the weekend or something. Um, and you can put blocks in for songwriting. It's a little harder to rein in that creative time. Sometimes you get on a roll and it's like, I don't want to stop after 3 hours. But you got to figure out times in your calendar that you're going to do things and stay pretty good with those because otherwise you're not going to get the things done that you want. You're not going to make the progress you want. And there's also little, ways that little hacks you can use to fit them into your day if you are working. Maybe take some of your lunch hour and you could do a few booking calls on lunch hour, or you could do some booking research on lunch hour. You could go in your car and work on songwriting or practice for a gig that you have coming up or something like that. And then on the way to and from work, you can do things like doing some learning time, listening to podcasts like mine or like this live stream, or dig into some coursework that you're doing with Ryan or whoever. And just you're sitting in the car, you may as well learn, right? So it's kind of thinking where you can put things in the cracks where they're going to feel fun and exciting and not like you're pressuring yourself. But there's some dead time that you can use productively. And then the time that you do have, making sure that you calendar that out and work together with your calendar and your to-do list that you've used in conjunction with your goals.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I would love to switch into a topic that we get emailed about almost every day. It's about managing the financial and business structure for an independent musician, and people have questions about like, hey, do I need to like set up a business? Do I need a business bank account? Like, how do I collect my royalties? Does that happen in my personal? And how do I separate it out? And taxes and all this stuff. What would you say to someone who is asking those questions and trying to navigate their business setup? And obviously, we can't, speak to specifics for every tax
Right.
code in every country in the world, but generally, there is a best practice for money management. What would you recommend?
Yeah, the first things you do is you set up a separate account for your business. It doesn't have to have your business name on it because at this point you're a sole proprietor anyway. So your
Mhm.
business can be under your name if you want. You can just be Bree Noble or whatever. And then you set up a separate credit card for all of your business
Mhm.
expenses. So you can make sure and easily track those. They don't get mixed in with all your personal stuff. That's going to be easy for tax purposes. And for those people that are thinking, well, like you said earlier, like, I don't really care as much about making the money. I just want to, get my music out there and all that. That's fine. But I would recommend that you really try to think of this like a business. Number one, because you'll be more focused on actually making money with it. But number two, because there are so many benefits to having a business that aren't even about the income. Right? There's so many things you can write off. I am about to go on a trip to New York City, and it's an expensive trip, plane flights and hotels and all this stuff. I can write that whole thing off because
That's
I am
right.
going to get together with several of my students when I'm there.
Mhm.
And so that's the kind of thing, thousands of dollars for this trip that I can write off. Now, of course, that assumes you're actually making money to put up against that, and you won't be doing that at first. But if you've got everything set up such that you can, down the line in a few years, actually make enough money that you can offset these expenses, then that will be awesome because you won't have to pay taxes on that income that you made. So, I know that's one of the important reasons for setting things up correctly. And, we do need to be making money in order to be considered a business by the IRS, but you don't have to be making money right away. It's something like
Mhm.
you have to earn, I think it's, you have to be profitable 3 out of 5 years or something like that before they say you're a hobbyist. So it's okay if in the first 2 years you're not making enough money to even, be in the positive, right? That's okay. You can still write things off. And therefore, you won't be paying any taxes on any of that income that you're making as a musician. And plus, it will go against the money that you're making other ways, right? So that
Yeah.
is a great benefit for actually being a business.
Yeah, and they don't specify how profitable you need to be
That's right.
after the fact. So you can have a break even business uh, and
Yeah.
take
No,
advantage of
you
all
can
the.
make $500 and
Yeah,
they'll consider you a business and you can still write off all that stuff.
that's fascinating. Guys, tuning in, let me know in the chat if you've set up a business for your music yet. I would love to know. I would also love to know, what is your main focus for your music career? Are you mostly a hobbyist? You don't really care about income? Do you just want to get your music out? Or is your main goal trying to become as profitable as possible and earn as much money as possible? Let us know. We're going to be transitioning into Q&A time in a few minutes. So also prep your questions and put them in the chat if you'd like to be part of this discussion. Also, I forgot to do this at the beginning of the stream. I always love doing this. But if you are tuning in from around the world, let me know where you're tuning in from. I love seeing where our audience is. We have a global audience on this channel. So drop a hello, drop your name. Let me know what country you're tuning in from, just because it's like one of my favorite things about live streams. I forgot to do it.
I know,
Uh,
I always think it's so cool. It's like even you and I, here I am in Southern California and you're in Nashville, right?
yes,
Yes, and so it's like we can just talk like we're next to each other.
love it.
So
Yes.
cool.
So let me know in the chat. I want to talk about the starving artist mentality, because you can't talk about money and business without the elephant in the room. Everyone thinks that musicians are just always going to be poor, or they're just not going to make money. It's one of the hardest industries, or there's no money in music anymore, or, ever since streaming started, the CD went away, right? There's no more money. And that's a just a theme that is pounded into our minds over and over again. How do you overcome that, especially when society and maybe family and friends are reinforcing that oftentimes in many of our lives? How can you change that mindset and become more productive and profitable as an independent musician?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is my number one mission as working
Hmm.
with artists because it's so frustrating to me, because it really holds back people with talent. And it also just kind of makes them sour toward their music, which is such a bummer. Um,
Hmm.
Music is such an amazing gift that has been given to us, and we can give to other people. We have that power to give that to other people, and that is just, I just think that's so cool, to create something out of nothing, a piece of art. So, I want to remind everybody how important your mission is as a musician, that you can create these things that no one else can. And a lot of people, musicians, just think, it's not that big of a deal what I can do. Wait till you meet people that are not musical at all. They are in awe of us, right? That we can do that. And so, I just, the way that I try to help artists with this is just show them what's possible. Just bring in as many people that have been able to do it as I can, to reinforce to them that it can be done. And that's why I come up with the 39 streams of income, because I want them to see, look, it's not just like the four, streams that you might have thought of, like performing and royalties. Like there's so many other things. Plus there's so many nuances on those particular things of, the way that you can work with your fans. Like, just think outside of the box. Think about things you can offer them or do with them,
Mhm.
treats where you're taking your fans to some cool new place, and, and you're being able to perform for them there or whatever, but like providing them with this cool experience that doesn't necessarily have to do specifically with your music, but you can kind of annex that. Ways that you can become a singer slash speaker and perform at all kinds of venues that are looking for people just like you. I think that we just need to understand that we're so much bigger than just music. Music is a part of what we do, but you can think about, okay, how can you combine music with something else that you love or something else that you do? For me, it was business, right? I was able to help musicians because I had also a degree in business. I was a director of finance at an opera company. I have experience in this, and I can see that there's a need for musicians to be helped in that area. Maybe you are a musician that focuses on mental health, and maybe you can build that into your brand, and then be able to offer like workshops or something to your fans where you also built in your music. It's just about getting creative, thinking outside of the box, being open to these ideas. The biggest problem with the starving artist mentality is people are closed-minded. They're just
Mm.
like, they're just negative. They're pessimistic, and you can't see possibilities when you approach it like that.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, the biggest thing that I think I realized this year is that none of us are full-time artists anymore when it comes to social media and content creation and all of, even if you're a signed artist, right? You still got to make the content. The label's not going to make the content for you. And we
Mhm.
have all these different hats we need to wear. And the full-time musician that might have existed back in, the golden eras, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, that doesn't really exist anymore because of the change in the industry. And I think open-mindedness is going to solve a lot of the classical, or the classically discussed shift in the industry, right? The shift from CDs to streaming, or the shift of the internet kind of taking away all of the traditional distribution, uh, such as like MTV, or touring. Right now, we can communicate globally through the internet, right? And wearing the different hats, like you said, is almost forced upon us because of the internet. And I think that open mindedness is key in like, what can I combine with music and enter into this new digital stage as like a renaissance person, like a musician that wears multiple hats and can engage with this with society as an artist and bring a lot of value in multiple ways. I think that's a huge revelation
Yeah,
that
I like that Renaissance idea, and the thing is that
Mhm,
a lot of people get angry. A lot of musicians get angry.
mhm,
Why do I have to do the admin? Why do I have to do the social media? Like in the old days, blah blah blah. And they like they pink cloud these old days, but it's
mhm,
not. It was back then. It was like a very small portion, a tiny little portion of people got to live this life that they're thinking of where they were a full-time musician, and everybody else was shut out because there was all these gatekeepers and decision makers and labels and
mhm.
all that. Now we have opportunity, which we didn't have before. And yes, the opportunity does afford that we have to do wear more hats, but at least we get to choose it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I mean, gosh, you can go viral on TikTok and get signed nowadays, right? The barrier to entry has definitely it's just it's wide open now. And
Yeah.
I think that is also important to highlight. Well, guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We definitely want to take advantage of Bree before she has to hop on her flight because she's about to travel. But if not, we'll release her early so that she can get to the airport on time and do everything she's got to do. But I'm going to say 5-minute warning for questions. Just as I bring up our final topic today, I want to get a sneak peek from you, if that's okay. What are some of your favorite of the 39 little known income streams that we can share with our audience here on this on the interview today? Because I liked the categories that you outlined. You said that there's like 10 non-traditional but lucrative opportunities as a performer, right? So you're still wearing your musician hat, right? You're still getting up on stage. You're doing something in front of people, right? Entertaining, but they're non-traditional. I was curious about that. And then also, um, you talk about 11 one-of-a-kind offers. In fact, instead of me reading the page, I'm just going to drop it in the chat so that you guys tuning in can check it out. Let's see. Yep, just sent that in.
Cool.
Jerry says, I just downloaded it. Thank you.
Yay.
David's tuning in from Kleinworth, New Jersey. Thanks so much, David. Tom says, the Netherlands say hello. And San Francisco says hello as well. And Jerry is tuning in from Bangkok. Welcome, Jerry. And Marcelo, of course, our wonderful admin, tuning in from London. But Bree, I wanted to ask, could you uh, just leak a couple of your favorites for us today? Just give us a taste.
Yeah, I mean, I'll mention the ones that I actually do, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
my music career really got started when I started becoming a speaker slash singer or doing things like my friend Tiamo calls keynote concerts. So that's one of the things on the list. And you know, you don't have to have some like amazing story. Like people think, oh my gosh, I have to have been like survived 9/11 or, I don't know, saved someone from a burning building or something, something epic that you can be a speaker on. But that's not true. Like there are so many things that we can all speak on. And my personal one was about my life story growing up being visually impaired. And I inserted my music and it was an inspirational talk. And I would go around to a lot of groups, especially women's groups, and do this talk that included my music. And then I would sell my music afterwards. And it just allowed me to get booked into a lot of other places. I was very good at networking when I was at the place, getting people my flyers, and then pretty soon I started having people calling me, which was great. And the thing with being a speaker slash singer is that you are gonna get paid a lot more than if you say that you're a musician. And it's very frustrating. I don't like it, but it's true. It's true. They have budgets for speakers, or programs is what I like to call them. I created programs that had a name. I had one for Christmas. I had one for because I have sung the national anthem at Dodger Stadium, so I kind of became known for singing the national anthem, and so I started doing like a 4th of July kind of program, a patriotic one. So having a program that that's like a product, right? It's not, you're not selling yourself, you're selling this product of your program, and here's what, people are going to get out of that. And so that was the biggest one that changed my career big time. And then some other ones that I've done that you can do from home, which are great, is, recording demos. I was just actually taking off my pop screen here because I was recording a demo this morning, because I get demos through air gigs and other kinds of places. And I still enjoy doing that. So, finding kind of a niche that you can occupy on places like air gigs and Sound Better, that are going to have people coming to you for specific kinds of vocals, you can get some good money from that. Bringing in every month lately, I've been getting some demos to add to my income. And then, teaching is one. There's so many different ways that you can teach, and you can use that knowledge to create books. Like a friend of ours, Bobby Osinski, he's written so many books, and his books are, in colleges and stuff like that. And he didn't even have all the knowledge. Like his thing was, I'm going to go out and research. I'm going to go learn from all the people that are the smartest in this area, and I'm going to put it into a book that's going to help people. So, you don't even have to have all the knowledge in order to do it. It's just creating something that people want. That's really all that we are doing in whatever kind of income stream, is creating and packaging up something that people want and being able to describe it in a way that makes them say, I need that now.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. In fact, when it comes to performing as a musician, just performing at the local bar or the local restaurant, it's just one category. And there's really no reason to rule out, performing arts centers or college campuses or corporate events or parties, and I've done a lot of those myself too. And you're right. It's like, if there's a party and there's a budget because the company's paying for it, you're going to get paid a lot more than just a split of the bar tab. And so that's a huge, once again.
And another one that I thought of that I do all the time now, just because I work at a church, but you don't have to work at a church, you could connect with a church, is funerals. I mean, unfortunately to say, like, funerals will never stop needing to happen. And so I think I've done 2 this month. So, just connecting with the people. Like, there are churches that literally they need somebody to play piano or guitar or sing or whatever at these events that they're going to happen anyway. Think about how you can connect with the right people that can get you those gigs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or weddings, the happy
Yep.
version.
Yes, the happy version.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for spending time with us today, Bree. Jerry had a question right before the buzzer. He made it in. But he's asking, submitted songs on Taxi, A&R, Broad Jam. I won $250 for a monthly song contest. That's pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Is Songfinch and Tune River similar to Taxi? I've honestly never heard of them.
No. Okay, they're totally different. So
Oh, yeah.
Songfinch and Tune River. Songfinch is, they employ you to create custom songs for people. So that's another income stream, is custom songs. You can do that directly with your fans if you want. Songfinch, if you've ever seen their social media, they have really good social media. You guys check out Songfinch. They just make you go, oh my gosh, this is so cool, because it's all these custom songs that have been written for people's birthdays and weddings and, christening or whatever that people want a song for. And they would employ you if you have the ability to write and record something that is going to sound good enough quality for what they need. Then you can do that and they will pay you for that. So that's Songfinch. Tune River is a little different. It is also custom songs, but they generally, they will take songs that you already have. Like, let's say I wrote a love song, and they like it. And I have the ability, let's say I have all my stems and everything, I can record from home. And then they're like, okay, we would like to use this song and then people can ask to customize it. So I can, then put people's names into this love song, right, that I've already written. So it's not extra work. It's just maybe go in there and change some of the lyrics to suit the people. But you're not writing a whole brand new song in most cases. That's my understanding of them. I've actually interviewed both of them on my podcast, so that's how I knew that.
Oh yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, I've never heard of those. And
Ah,
I'm assuming those were in your 39 streams of income document. So
yes, custom songs is definitely in there. And I really try on my podcast to highlight as many streams of income or as many, ways or angles to make money as I can. So check out the Profitable Musician Show as well if you're looking for just different ideas to spark of, thinking outside the box.
absolutely. Well, at that, that was a great send off. Thanks so much for your time today, Bree. And I always love talking to you. I know that the audience enjoyed it as well. If you haven't checked out Bree's 39 little known streams of income document, I linked that in the chat for you guys to check it out. Make sure you grab it. 39, you don't want to skip on that because there probably are plenty of income streams that you've never thought of before. So definitely check that out. And here's the link one more time. I'll throw it up on the screen. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yep. So check that out. Thank you again, Bree, for your time today. I hope to have you back on the channel again soon.
Awesome. It's been great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next stream. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss next time we go live. See you later, everyone. Take care.